Hey everybody, Comic Book Steve here again with another haul. This is going to be my Rhode Island Comic Con haul. I went there today with my wife down to, obviously, Providence, Rhode Island. It was a lot bigger than last year, which was nice since they had a lot of problems letting everyone in last year. The line was incredibly long. It was sold out on Saturday. We had our tickets well in advance, so that was no problem. The line was still long to enter in with your one-day pass, which is kind of annoying. But we got in, looked around. It wasn't like crowded like I would say, even Boston Comic Con on a Saturday, or certainly not San Diego Comic Con on a Saturday. So it was still, pretty reasonable to move around and about, unless you went towards the celebrity area where it was like a standstill. So basically, we went there just to take a look at back issues, try to find some good deals in the dollar bins, maybe pick up a key or two off the like the back racks they had at some of these vendors. Didn't really get any like giant keys. In fact, the haul I got is it's about this size here, which is not definitely much smaller than what I had when I came out of Boston Comic Con. I went crazy during Boston Comic Con. I got some stuff that's pretty fun, stuff that I wanted. Nothing like, maybe like one or two that I was like really looking for, but nothing like, nothing super duper major. I saw a Death of Gwen Stacy that I was thinking about grabbing, but it was, took a closer look at the price and it was over $200, so passed up on that. But anyway, let's get into it. So we'll start off with the new releases from last week. First one we got is the Amazing Spider-Man #3. This is the regular cover. It's a nice cover, fun book. I'm still enjoying the series. I like this new direction, even though I was not really on board when they announced the direction the series was going to be going in. But so far I like it. It's fun. Then we get, this is one of the free ones that they had from Halloween Comic Fest. Doctor Strange The Oath #1. It's free, so why not? It's a great story. I used to have the regular prints of the miniseries, but long since gotten rid of them during my my last comic purge a few years ago. So it was cool to get that for free. And then along with that, there was this Spider-Man Web Warriors and Avengers Assemble split book, another free one from the Halloween Comic Fest that they still had on the shelves, so I'll pick that up. Might give that to my nephew. Then I picked this guy up, Howard the Duck #1. They didn't have the Gwenpool variant. They had a couple of the other variants, but I wasn't gonna pay for those. I wasn't really interested in Howard the Duck anyway. I was only getting it because of the speculation on the Gwenpool character. I think having Gwenpool around, I get they want to make money, and it was a popular costume during like conventions and stuff after that cover came out during the Gwen variants. I think it's a little overkill, kind of making Gwenpool her own character, and from what I understand of this, I didn't like I didn't take a fine-tooth comb to the issue. I just kind of flipped through the main story and then read the backup story with Gwenpool. It seems like she's in the regular Marvel universe, which is really odd and kind of disturbs me. I mean, there's like some offbeat Gwen Stacy character running around in Peter Parker's universe. Not a big fan. I picked it up anyway, just because. They were also doing the sale, I guess, still at Newberry. This one didn't fall under the sale, unfortunately, but the Amazing Spider-Man one did, so I didn't spend as much as I would have if it was like a normal no-sale day. So I figured, why not? I get this first print. This one doesn't really go for a lot. I think you can still get it for cover price. I think you can sell it for cover price, too. So it's not terrible, but it's definitely not in the demand that the other variant with Gwenpool on the cover is going for, but whatever. Again, not a huge fan, but I'll actually still probably pick up the holiday special that's coming out in a few months, but reluctantly so. The other one I got was Spider-Gwen #0. Love Spider-Gwen. This is the other the other side of the coin. Like Gwenpool, I think, is a bit of overkill, and I know some people don't really like Spider-Gwen. I think it's an awesome idea. I still think it's an awesome idea, and I love it. And I'll keep reading the book as long as it's good. So this is technically the oh god, I don't even know what printing this would be. 7th printing, maybe. Edge of Spider-Verse 2 had 6 printings on its own, and then if you count this one as a 7th printing, this would be a 7 printing. I think it's 7 printing. You might have to correct me on that. But technically, since they're labeling it as Spider-Gwen 0, it's not a 7 printing at all. But it does reprint Edge of the Spider-Verse with some sketches and like a what you would call it, story breakdown. Like a script. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. A script for what the story was based on. Fully laid out with character, voices and details, and what should be going on in the panels. So it's fun if you like that kind of stuff. I don't really care about that kind of stuff, but it was nice to throw it in there, I guess, instead of just being another reprint. It's a cardstock cover, so it's a little harder to get it in a nice condition. There was only 2 copies at the Newbery I went to, and both of them had tiny breaks in the color. This one was a little less annoying than the other one, but just be careful of that if you do look for this book. It is cardstock, and it's prone to little dings and cuts in it. So yeah, still cool, still buying them. Now we're gonna get into the Rhode Island haul. A lot of these are, well, I guess I'll try to remember what I paid for them. But I definitely tried to store on the cheap bins as much as possible. First one we got is New Avengers #1, the Quesada variant. Now there were different Quesada variants for each panel, each character, or like there was a cover for at least Luke Cage and Spider-Woman. There was a cover for Sentry. There's a cover for Spider-Man, and so on and so forth. And then they merged them all into this cover. I actually don't remember if this came out post the initial release of New Avengers 1 as like a special edition or variant, or like, I don't know, Dynamic Forces or something like that. But I picked it up anyway. It was I think $2. So I thought that was a fine price. I'm not a big fan of the normal New Avengers #1 cover with the lightning strike. So I like this a lot better. So that was fun. And then I also picked up another New Avengers #1 variant. This one's a little less sought after. I also don't know if this was part of the initial release or not. I think it was, but I'm not entirely sure. I thought this was a cool cover as well, even though I'm not a big fan of Finch, the artist. It's also got, you can tell it's an early cover, or early, probably pre the actual interior art, because this character over here, I guess, is supposed to be Ronin, but is a completely different design from the Ronin we end up seeing in issue, I don't even remember. It was within the first 10, but he looks totally different, or she looks totally different. This one looks kind of like a Mysterio looking character. I think they ended up using this design during Bendis's Uncanny X-Men run, but yeah, no big deal. This was also about $1, $2. I think it goes for that on eBay, so nothing too special. I also picked up this for $1. It's Thunderbolts #1, the team with Red Hulk, Venom, Punisher, Deadpool, and Elektra, and then later on they had Ghost Rider join the team. So I think there was some speculation about Thunderbolts being like a Netflix show, and this was the team that people were kind of looking at. This doesn't go for anything, but I've had this on my radar since they started talking about Thunderbolts being like a property they would bring to Netflix. Obviously there's a few they can't use on here for the show. They can't use Venom, they can't use Deadpool, obviously, and I guess they could use Hulk, but I don't see them bringing General Ross into the TV series. But definitely Elektra and Punisher, so you never know. It was a buck. Actually, no, I think this was a buck. Yeah, there was a 50-cent bin I was rifling through, but I don't think I actually picked up anything from that. This was one of the dollar ones. This guy was $3. This is Amazing 157, just filling in some gaps in my Amazing collection. I was a little disappointed with this one. It was $3, so that wasn't bad. It does have the collector's stamp cut out in it, which I didn't realize until I was looking at it in the car later on. I guess I just need to be aware of what books have the stamp in it to kind of keep that in mind. I think it's the ones that have the still only 25-cent blurb over there, but I have to do some research on that. But that kind of sucks. But for $3 for a Bronze Age issue of Spider-Man, I'm not gonna complain too much. Anyway, Amazing 168. This was another one that was $3. Decent condition. Nothing horribly wrong with it. Nothing horribly great going on inside the book in terms of like content. It says introducing Will-O-the-Wisp. This might be his first appearance. Not super sure. As flipping through the book, like the first page is Spider-Man already in mid-battle with Will-O-the-Wisp. So I'm not sure if that was like a continuation from last issue, or if it just picks up in the middle of a fight and then tries to explain how they got there. But anyway, decent shape, nothing wrong with it. Nothing like super obvious. Just filling up more gaps in the collection. Amazing 39 was another $1 one. Just something that I realized I didn't have, so thought I'd pick it up for $1. One of the J. Michael Straczynski issues, which was a run that had its ups and downs. I think it was fun. Maybe one day I'll do like videos on what I think about the more long-term runs of the Amazing Spider-Man series, because I definitely have a lot of things I like to talk about with most of them. For the gist of it, J. Michael Straczynski, his run was good at some parts, and then you know there was some parts of it that I thought were kind of bland overall. But this one was a fun issue, so I was glad to find that one for cheap. Then we get Amazing Spider-Man number 7. This is another series. This was another creative team, John Byrne and Howard Mackie, that were pretty terrible. I actually have a hard time picking these ones up, but I do want to fill in the collection, so if I find them for $1, I'll grab them. This one was $1, so I picked it up. And then there was another one here, Amazing Spider-Man number 10, with some guy that looks like Wonder Man on the cover. Very generic. I also got, what was this? Amazing Spider-Man 699.1. This is like a Morbius-centric issue, kind of leading into his Morbius the Living Vampire series that came and went right after this. Not a huge fan of Morbius, and I'm not a huge fan of the .1s they've been doing, but it was $1, so I thought I'd pick it up. I think this one even has a second print, and I'm pretty sure it only has a second print because it happened to fall in between the Doc Ock taking over Spider-Man's body storyline. So retailers are probably like, oh, $6.99. Well, like, yeah, retailers probably bought the issue 699.1 thinking it had to do with that storyline, and then Marvel was like, hey, we're gonna do a second print because that one sold out. But I think it was just happenstance that it happened to sell out, not because Morbius was super popular or anything, just because it happened to fall into that Doc Ock storyline. Speaking of that storyline, I picked up $6.99 the first print. I'd like to get the second print. Nothing super different about the second print other than like listing on the cover that it's a second print. I think the cover might be a little, the colors on it might be a little saturated. Not entirely sure, but if I ever see it, I'll pick it up. But it was a fun storyline, so I thought I'd grab that. I have $6.98 and $700, so I was glad to find $6.99 for $1. This guy was $3. This is Amazing Spider-Man king size. I think it's an annual. It doesn't say annual, but it's number 9, and I don't think there were 9 king size books, or maybe they were, but I'm pretty sure this is an annual. Anyway, this is a reprint of a Spectacular Spider-Man magazine, number 2 from the 70s. It was kind of like one of those one of those early Green Goblin storylines. Just before, I think this in chronological order, this takes place right after the drug issues, and then before the death of Gwen Stacy. So this is the last time he fights Goblin before Amazing 121, 122, if I'm not mistaken. So I got it just for having a classic Green Goblin storyline in my collection, even though it is a reprint. But still, even the reprint itself is from 1973, so it's an older book. $3, can't beat that. Marvel TeamUp number 27. I just like this cover a lot. The colors on it were really nice. I love that green and the SpiderMan red and blue. So I thought that was fun. I haven't read it, but I've often seen this cover in like stores or in on online stores, and I think about grabbing it. So this was $2, so I figured I'd pick it up. Now we're getting into the last 3, and these are the ones that I'm most excited about having in my collection. The first one is Amazing 229. This was $8, so it was a little more than I was spending on the other books that I picked up today. But it's one that I really want, and for under 10, I thought that was pretty decent. I think on average this can go for about 10 to 12. I've seen it go as high as like 20, 30, depending on the condition, obviously. It's a pretty nice looking copy. There are a couple of dents in the cover. I don't know if you can tell, if I can get the light to shine on them. There are a few dents into the cover, but other than that, it's pretty solid. So I was pretty happy paying $8 for it, and I don't regret it. I wish I would have had $230, but $229 is it's a good step. It's one of those issues from the 200s that I was worried about having to pay a lot for to complete my 200 to 700 run. The other one I got was Hulk number 1, the second print. Now you know I'm a big fan of second prints, and I've had this Hulk number 1 on my radar for a while. I can't, not the second print necessarily, but I wanted to get the first appearance of the Red Hulk. I couldn't find the first print anywhere for like a realistic price. I wasn't gonna pay anything over $5 for it. But I saw this guy and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that Hulk number 1 has a second print, so I snatched this up as soon as I saw it. This was only $1, so I can't go wrong with that. And again, I like second prints. They're more rare, which doesn't mean they're worth more. So in cases that there is attention drawn to the issue, first print or second print or otherwise, usually the subsequent printings they can command more value to them. In the case of, let's say, Batman number 1 from the New 52, I think the 5th printing goes for pretty high amounts, almost higher than the first printing. And then of course you've got Kamala Khan's first appearance on that second print of Captain Marvel 17, which goes for insane amounts compared to the first printing. Now I don't think that's going to happen with this one, but it is first appearance, second printing of a first appearance, so it's rare. So long story short, I figured that it's a good buy, and I certainly like to have this in my collection. And the last one I picked up was Amazing 654. I paid $10 for this, which you can get it for cheaper on eBay if you're patient. I don't like to, I browse eBay quite a bit, but I don't like to feel like I don't like to feel like it's a job keeping an eye on eBay. I look at it leisurely, and if you have the time, definitely more power to you. I wish that I could do that. But I have seen some of these get sold for less than 10. It's rare, but it does happen. So for 10, I was like, okay, I can deal with 10 for it. It was at this shop or this vendor there, Larry's Comics, over in Lowell, Massachusetts, which I really need to visit because he had a stand at the Boston Comic Con. That's where I got the Miss Marvel #1 for $10, and the Spider-Woman #1, the Jessica Drew. God, I was gonna say Jessica Carpenter. Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman #1 from the '70s for $5. So he's got pretty good prices on stuff. So I'm curious to see what his shop is like, or if those prices are just like convention prices. He's got like rid of stuff. But I was really surprised this one hadn't been taken yet. It was sitting right on the rack there in front of everyone's face. It's $10. I'd like to get the second print eventually. I haven't found any vendors that have that available. But this one was one of the books that was on my top 10 books to find this year list. So I was glad to knock that one off, and fills up another missing piece of the collection. So that's about it. I think, Rhode Island Comic Con was a little, even though it was bigger, I feel like for what I got, it was a little less successful than last year at the Rhode Island Comic Con. I felt like I got a lot more that I was excited about, and now, they're all exciting. They're all filling up gaps somewhere. I am, like I said, being a little more conservative about what I pick up, but even based on that, there wasn't like a lot that there wasn't a lot that I was struggling to put back, let's say. I think the space that they used, or the expanded space, was definitely a benefit for them. It definitely felt more like a convention than just like a small rinky-dink convention wannabe, like it had the past few years. So it felt like, even the way it was laid out reminded me of the Boston Comic Con down at the Seaport. So I thought that was fun. So I might go next year. Maybe not. We'll see. They did raise prices on the tickets, so that was a bummer. Yeah, that's about it, guys. Let's see. I don't have any other major purchases coming in anytime soon, so it might be a little while before I do another video. I have some other ideas for videos that I want to do in the meantime. If I get the chance, I will definitely do that. But there'll be a surprise, so don't want to spoil it. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you're all having fun. If anyone went to the Rhode Island Comic Con, feel free to share your videos. I would love to see what you guys picked up. If there was anything good there that I might have missed, so I can cry over it while I'm watching your video. That would be awesome and sad at the same time. But I'm sure there's stuff I missed. But anyway, yeah, I would love to see if anyone had any successes there. It's always fun to see everyone's hauls and what everyone picked up. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and take care. Talk to you later.